All right, number 2, where do Cam Ward and other rookie quarterbacks go?
Yeah.
And the first question is from Israel DMS 7. Why shouldn't my New York Jets draft Jalen Milroe? Maybe even in the second, trade up to the last first, #Badlands.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Milroe obviously we don't think is going to be a day one guy.
No.
I know you're still going through the nitty-gritty of the quarterbacks.
He's one that I'm not all the way through yet, all the way through. But I watch Jalen Milroe very closely. I really have. He's got tremendous high-end talent. I don't think he's going to go in the second round either.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Just too much of a project?
I just think there's a little bit more project there than right. Jalen Hurts was a project, but Jalen Hurts we got to see like, hey, he played quarterback.
Right.
He's got all the quarterback way and persona, and everything about him says quarterback. Right. And we saw like, wow, his last year in college, they spread it out, and he threw it 45 times a game, and he was damn good. We haven't had that with Jalen Milroe. We've had moments, the end of the 2023 season, right? There was like, oh, damn, he's getting better. 2024, as you've heard me say, and I've said it a bunch, like through the first 6 or 7 weeks, I would have gone, Jalen Milroe is going to win the Heisman. I mean, he was carrying Alabama. It was a human highlight film.
Yep.
But I think as the year went on, and they weren't as good, of course, and they couldn't run the ball, it exposed them a little bit in the fact that, can you trust him to drop back and beat a team all the time, 40 times a game, and make the right decisions and right throws all the time? No, obviously not. And it fell off a little bit. And then you and I talked about last week, he had that one day at the Senior Bowl where everybody was like, damn, the ball really got away from him a lot. It wasn't good. So I don't think it's second round. I think he's a guy that maybe late third round, it might be the start of day 3, but somebody takes him going like, hey, I don't give a damn we drafted him in the 4th round. We see something with him. There's no way he's getting on the field in year 1. We got to work with him and do some things to polish him up a little bit.
And that's a good reminder about Hurts. I think people forget Hurts started about 2.5 seasons at Alabama.
Yes.
Transferred.
Took them to a national championship game, right? Did get benched in that game, but yes, let's not forget that.
Then, and scouts like this a lot, transferred and started somewhere else. So really 3.5 years of starting. Milroe started really 2.
Exactly.
That's a gigantic difference.
Started 2, and the first year he was benched because it's still raw, and they had to try to bring him along, and then he responded and got better. But yes, it's a different story than Jalen Hurts. Now, his high-end potential, I think, is greater than Jalen Hurts.
He's a better athlete, like just pure speed.
I mean, Jalen Milroe is one of those guys. It doesn't matter what field he's on. We're going to be like, well, he's definitely one of the 2 or 3 best athletes on the field.
Yep.
And then his arm, when he throws it well, and I said this on Monday's pod after watching the combine and doing all that, hey, when he throws it and everything's in the right position, the ball explodes out of his hand. I mean, he had throws. There was no doubt his arm was the strongest in his group at the NFL Combine. It's just that, yes, it's not always smooth. It can be off target a little from time to time. But, that high-end talent, again, which teams believe in, and there's always a coach that thinks, I can make him do that all the time. Somebody's going to like Jalen Milroe.
The one thing I'll say is that, people can't see is that teams will love the person.
The person's amazing.
Amazing person.
Like, perfect. You're right.
That makes you go, you know what, maybe I'll take him in the 3rd because I know he's going to do everything he can to maximize his development.
Right.
I asked his teammate Tyler Booker about him. I was like, because they were both the leaders of that team when they went through the Saban transition. And he was like, listen, I'll shoot it straight. He's the first one there at 5 a.m. every day. He leaves at 8 when everyone's long gone. And when we needed somebody to kind of take the reins as we transitioned coaching staffs, it was always him.
Yeah.
Lifted with the linebackers, which, I mean, when you're 220 and pure muscle, it's not shocking to hear that.
But that gets you respect in the locker room,
right.
As leader, everything.
He gets it from every
you
aspect,
can see that.
Every single aspect, where at least he needs to be developed, but he'll do everything he can to maximize it.
Yeah,
where you can't always, you're not guaranteed that when you draft a project quarterback.
You're right. Teams are going to love that, especially love that out of a potential quarterback for your football team. You got to be that way, right? Also, I'm with you. I mean, getting to spend a little time with him at the Super Bowl. Top notch, incredible, perfect. I always liked him after the game when I would see him interviewed anyways.
Right.
He'd be one of those guys where I'd show my wife and be like, hey, look at this kid. This kid's impressive, right?
He really
look,
is.
He's a good kid, good answer right there, blah, 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 right? You could tell he gets it, and everything I've heard, he gets it, and from what I've seen in person, I felt like I was talking to a guy that gets it. So, I hear you on everything you're saying there, Connor. Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Hey, just because the season's over, it doesn't mean we're over. we ain't going anywhere. The NFL never dies.
We're staying right here. Hit subscribe. We got every NFL move. We'll react to that. Plus, Chris has got 4,719 draft prospect profiles to do.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe. You know where to find us. Peace out, homies.